And good morning. Welcome to a Tadpoll for a Thursday morning. A little late this morning. We're on the road. Actually, we're at the Hanson Museum in Logan with the Tadpoll. We're going to be in a little bit kind of taking you on a tour of all the great artwork that the high schools around the area have brought down here. Every February they do this, and Sherry will be giving us a tour, looking at some of the outstanding artwork. It's amazing when you see what's here. Before we talk with Sherry, we're going to be talking with Brian Stockman about life and the great project you have coming down here, Hanson Life. What does life mean there?
Well, our community finally coalesced around a name and an acronym, which is LIFE. LIFE stands for the Logan Intergenerational Family Education Center, or project.
Okay.
And it's fitting because it is all about life, putting the infants to preschool to high schoolers together with our eldest residents in the manor and integrating the whole community.
Now, let's talk about the project. It's a $15 million project. Hanson with 7.5, and then the others being raised, private funds and so on. So what is the project? And I know it's just going to move the schools closer together, and the senior citizens will have more access. Just what's going to be happening when?
Sure, just a real quick overview is that we will be constructing a new nursing home, a 36-bed nursing home, not on the conventional design that you are used to with nursing homes, but on what is really called the small house design, where you have really a household of 12 residents that each have their own pod. There'll be 3 of those units connected to a new preschool, pre-K through 4th grade, so an elementary school. And that will be integrating a community center, a meeting room that can be used as a theater, but also a wellness center, all connected to the existing high school, and all of that, and a new gymnasium. So the residents will be able to attend ball games and everything you think of that goes on in a school, these residents will have access to.
That's great.
Including the classrooms. We want them involved in the classrooms doing projects with the kids.
Leveraging. It's a two-way thing, though. The kids will also have a chance to interact with the people in the home too. So
that's right.
It's both ways, which is really great.
And if you've been to our Logan Manor when we've had some of these activities, this is already starting. We're already getting the kids down there to visit, and both groups have a blast, and they look forward to these events, and they do all kinds of activities together. And so you have the residents that have kind of adopted kids, and kids that have adopted a grandma or grandpa, and it's like coming home to a Christmas. You know, they get very excited about seeing each other and pairing up to do things together.
Great idea, and integrating, bringing the community closer together, which is bottom line, what you want, you know.
It's hard to say which group benefits more, but the kids get so much out of it, but the residents, their attitudes, their hope levels are raised, and it's just a wonderful thing to see. And what this project is going to do is allow us to remove the distance. You know, when weather's bad, it's hard to get the kids down there. So being able to be involved daily with what's going on will be like having your family together all the time, being able to interact.
Is this a new concept? Has it been tried elsewhere, or where did the idea from life come from? You know?
Well, the concept is not new. It's in the last 20, 30 years, there have been around the country small-scale projects like this, usually just a kindergarten embedded in a nursing home, or a couple of preschool grades located adjacent to a nursing home. This is really the first in the nation to scale that up to something like what we're doing. And of course, it's co-located with our daycare center. So we have the entire spectrum of age groups here, from infant to seniors in high school, that will benefit from this interactive experience.
Okay, what's your timetable?
Well, it's compressed. You know, we last fall had our town hall, and our goal is to be able to start construction by the end of 2020. About a year build time, and so we were hoping to be open 2021, fall of 2021. So we're feverishly working right now with the architects and construction managers to finalize the design, which is moving very well. And at the same time, we're immersed in a really novel fundraising effort, which
how are the funds going?
trying to raise $7.5 million is not easy.
Yeah.
We had set a local goal of 1.25 million, which we think is kind of the magic number to demonstrate the community buy-in, the fact that when we reach out to regional or national foundations, they need to see that the community has stepped up and that they want this and that it's sustainable. So
that makes sense,
and I tell you, the fundraising campaign, it's a lot more complicated than you think. We had some professional groups working with us on how to organize what your fundraising materials should look like, what you say and what you don't say.
Sure.
And that has been a process that's been a little bit, I won't say frustrating, but we're also eager to get there, that we want to get more formally started, and we are finally
later, right? Yeah.
we're finally at the point where we finalized our fundraising, our brochures, our pamphlets, the informational piece that people need in order to feel comfortable about donating. We've got a brand new website that will be going live in the next week.
Oh, okay.
And that will be www.loganlifecenter.com.
Okay.
So people can be watching it. That will be a tremendous tool for us to keep people updated
on how the funding is going.
Exactly. And we've had some exciting developments. The last month or so, we had a major gift by Ken and Dina Vagey down in Hayes. They're Logan alumni. And their leadership, they stepped up with a $200,000 contribution, which that kind of courage and leadership has, and they authorized us to let people know they've done that. They're not looking for a pat on the back. They just are very community-minded people, excited about the project. And so that lead gift led us to be able to approach some other donors, and we've had a total of about another $140,000. So we're at around $340,000 that's been pledged to the project, which is more than a fourth of our way toward our goal. And we haven't really rolled out our fundraising campaign yet. That's just kind of informal, word of mouth effort.
You raised that million, what here, Logan? $1.2 million, was it?
$1.25
$2.5, okay.
Is what we're aiming for locally.
So then you have these foundations around the country that will look at that and say, all right, and they like foundation, their jobs is for maybe for the elderly or maybe for schools or something. Is that how you contact them then and apply? Is it an application process?
Yes, a grant writing process, and we have reached out to already a number of organizations that we think the intergenerational angle is in their wheelhouse. There are foundations that want to support that effort. We've had an interest by the Harry and Jeanette Weinberg Foundation, for example, which never does anything in an area out here. They concentrate their efforts in about 5 cities around the world, and they contacted us wanting to know more about the project. And so we'll be reaching out to organizations like that when we feel like we've got the local support and our fundraising goal is nearing completion. That will give us the credibility to go out and say, here's what we've done.
Some in New York, if you don't say, well, they aren't locally, they don't seem to really be interested, and then if you show the interest there, it's going to say, well, if they're willing to do what they're doing, we'll see what we can do.
That's right. And when you're a town of 500 people on a ball game night, that's maybe 450 or 500. We feel like that's a sizable number that will demonstrate that everyone has really gotten behind it, and we've seen tremendous excitement.
That's great.
We've been hamstrung a little bit by not having our fundraising materials to be able to show people and tell them more about where we are. But we're finally, within the next week or so, going to be able to roll this out in a way that...
And what was that website again?
It's loganlifecenter.com.
Okay. Logan Life. Easy to... loganlifecenter.com. not common. Get on there and keep track of what's going. And
Yes, sir.
so you really have, hopefully this fall, maybe to get
We
things
are
started, right?
energized to make that happen.
Okay.
And it's also really something that's never been done before
Sure, I
either
know.
in that short a time frame. If you
Sure.
talk to most of these professionals, they want to talk about 3 to 5 year
Yeah.
campaigns, and we don't feel we have that kind of time. We want
Okay.
to stay on this while it's
All
hot.
right, well, we'll have to keep in touch and have you on every once in a while, kind of give us an update on what's going on. And I think it's a great concept.
Well, we appreciate the opportunity.
Well,
Thank
sure.
you for thinking
Well,
about
sure,
us.
and no, it's, you know, you have such an impact, Hanson and all Northwest Kansas. I mean, you know, and it's amazing. You know, you'll open the paper and Hayes gets a grant or something, and then or even the Northwest Kansas or Atwood or whatever. You know, it's amazing how, and it's great to have you here in Phillips County. You know.
Well, it's a personal blessing of mine to be associated
Sure,
with the
right,
foundation,
okay.
and we look at all of our projects as a way to demonstrate to
Sure.
similar-sized communities. You know, we're rural, and we have a few big towns,
Sure.
but mostly in
Yeah.
Northwest Kansas, it's small towns, and that's what we're trying to do, is make an impact.
I have talked to several people who live out in Northwest Kansas. Kind of said, I wish we were in Northwest Kansas to make avail themselves, of what the opportunity is that the Hanson does. Well, I'll let you go back to work, and thanks for coming on. And we'll get in touch, see how things are going, maybe a month or so, and get an update on them. And so, if someone out there is interested in helping, do you have an address, or how are you collecting the money, I guess is the question.
Well, you can always mail checks in to the Logan Community Development Foundation,
Okay.
P.O. Box 203 in
Okay.
Logan. You can call Max Lowry, who's really headed up this project, and I don't think he would mind it. His phone number is on our fundraising
Sure. Okay,
materials,
sure.
but it's a local number, 689-833. You
Yeah.
can always call and get instructions. The website also will have it'll have a donate button, it'll have the address. If you want to make a donation, it's pretty easy to find us.
Sure. Okay, that's right. Another thing, strategic planning. That was a great Phillipsburg. We 2 or 3 projects that really went to completion on it. The things are really going well. That's a great idea. The strategic planning for Northwest Kansas.
Well, thank you. And Phillips County has done a good job of availing itself of that
Right.
method,
Okay.
and
All
things
right,
are
good.
starting to happen.
Okay. Well, I'll let you go back out, and we'll keep in touch. That's how things
Thank
are going.
you very much. You have
Life.
a good day.
What life means to what again? Is
The Logan Intergenerational Family Education Project.
I'll just call
Life.
it life there. Okay, fine.
Thank
We're going to
you.
take a break. Sherry Buss will come in and talk about art and some other things happening here after we take this time out. And the Tadpoll's on the road today again in Logan. Talk about some things we just had Brad Stockman talking about life. We're going to talk about a lot of life that's going inside the museum here with some great artwork. And Sherry Buss is joining us. Sherry, how many schools do you have involved in this?
We have 6 schools. We have Norton Community High School, Hill City High School, Phillipsburg High School, Trigo Community, and TMP and Smith Center.
And it's amazing. They've been on display about a month now, haven't they?
About a month, yes. We'll be coming down on March 9th, so you still have about 2 weeks to come out and look at the art, and I would highly recommend it. We have some very talented young artists.
Oh, it's amazing. And I think before we went on the air, you talked about the fact that not only is the work great, but the ideas, a lot of originality in there.
Very much so. And see some maturity in some of their work. Some of them, of course, are trying to convey a pretty heavy message. We have a gal over here in Trigo that is a pencil drawing of a person hugging someone who seems to be melting away, and really drawing your attention that you need to be mindful because tomorrow isn't promised. And then we have a gal from Smith Center who is a foreign exchange student from Italy, and she has a pencil drawing that kind of has a political message about the immigration situation that they've faced over there, and we'll have to look at it. It's very cool. It's the Mediterranean is swallowing up people as they come.
We're gonna tour and look at all the different arts you have here. So how many years has you been doing this?
This is the 43rd year.
43rd. Wow. And it's really is amazing. Now, what different kind of artwork do you have here?
Today, this year, we have pencil, ink, lino cuts. We have oil and acrylic paintings. We have ceramics. We have mixed media. I'm trying to think.
Are there some games on a table over there?
Yeah, very interesting. Phillipsburg, that's really a step outside of the box. We've never done that, and they also encourage you to touch them. And they are 2 different board games that these students had to plan from start to finish. And it's more than just making little cards. They had to make the game work out so that there could be a way to play, a clear, direct path and directions. And they've, one of them, I think it was Summer Peak, hers is about the digestive system. So it really blended art and science. It's very ingenious.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, and I kind of took a little tour earlier, and some of the work, the Rocket Man, I saw the Rocket Man back there, which is amazing, and a lot of it, I'm sure, is personal. I mean, maybe someone in the family that you have drawings of or something like that.
Yeah, and we have some self-portraits. There's some, a couple of the gals from Smith Center, their ceramic pieces are actually figurines from stories they're writing. So I loved watching that blend together because art should be incorporated all throughout your life.
Okay. Okay, you ready to take a tour? We'll take a break and get set up and come back and
Sounds good to
show
me.
some of the artwork.
Yeah, let's let them see this wonderful art.
Sure. Okay, fine. Thanks. So we'll take a break, and when we get back, we'll look at that art. Okay, we're by the north entrance here of the Hansen Museum, and Sherry, you might explain some of the each piece of art has a name and school, right?
Right. We've divided the gallery up into schools, and so this is
okay.
the TMP area.
Okay, all right.
We don't do it by art category anymore. We do it by schools the last several years.
Okay, it used to be one of the art categories and
It
stuff.
was. It used to be a judge show, but it's no longer that.
Okay,
It's now
okay.
just a show.
Okay.
And so this is TMP. Nancy Flax is the art instructor there, and she has this area, and then we'll pan over here a little
Okay.
bit and see this. And she has some very talented artists, and she also has incorporated some graphic design into her program. So we do have a couple of graphic design pieces. And we're seeing more and more of digital painting come out. And, you know, there was a lot of controversy regarding that sort of art movement. Some artists don't feel like it's true art, and some, you know, do.
Sure.
I have watched some videos on it, and you still have to be able to draw. So you still have to have some skills there, I have to say. There's an excellent example of stippling here, Hannah Flynn, and they're calling it a pen and ink, but in this particular Roaring with Life, she's used black ink and made dots, little tiny dots, and where she's placed these dots, if they're more dense, it's darker, as if they're farther apart, it's lighter, and it's just very interesting to me that something that's simple as placing dots on a picture can create this three-dimensional tiger, saber-tooth tiger looking, you know, piece. It's very impressive to me. That's a lot of planning and forethought, and it's a very you know, easy sounding concept, but it's much harder to really bring to life, I believe. You know, very impressive. Lots of good stuff. They have a very nice ceramics program at TMP as well, and they have several 3D freestanding pieces here. Lots of nice work on that. And then they have several paintings and drawings. There are a few pastels in this as well. I think there's a very interesting, looks like a little Mexican village. It's a watercolor, Maggie Bauman, Colorful World. Very eye-catching, pretty.
There's a Rocket Man I was talking about.
Yes, Elton John, here we go. Samantha Zimmerman. Very impressive skills there. And she did this with pastels.
You know, this is very intriguing over here. If you get that is very different. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. Is that considered sculpture? Is that
It's sculpture.
Okay.
Well, they're calling it ceramics. And I believe this is their foreign exchange student from Japan.
Oh, wow.
I'm not going to try to pronounce his name, but
Okay.
he called it Rose Inside of a Box. Very interesting. Nancy is very skilled in pottery as well, so they have some wonderful instruction in that area. Another stippling over here with a hand inside a hand. Several great pencil drawings.
Boy.
Right in front of you, Dad. A little bit of a maybe political piece here, like a butterfly. I didn't get to speak with the TMP students. Their instructor brought the art and hung it themselves, so I don't know for sure, but just, you know, looking at that makes me think there's a strong message behind it. So we go on around the corner here and we move into Trigo Community, and they have some fun pieces as well. They have a lot of pastels this year. That's kind of different. Pastels are like a very dense compressed oil paint is kind of how I think of them, and a little bit chalky. I don't know if they're as difficult to work with as I would think of, but I know they're hard to keep sometimes, that over time they smudge and stuff, so it's hard to keep their trueness to them. These mannequins were done by 2 girls in 2 different classes, the instructor said, and they had a lot of fun, like leaving it out for the other one to look at when they came to the next class. And so I thought they were kind of cute. Raina Botstick and Caitlin Cody made those. They have some wood burning, and they're calling it pyrography here, but That's not something we see every year in the high school art show.
Again, sculpture. There's the skull with the roses on the top. What's that called?
This is the light behind beauty, and Lexi Chapman made it. And we had a votive, a battery-operated votive in there for a long time, but the battery died. It's
Okay.
very nice. Yeah, and just some different. The water feature does not work. Jericho Wagner made this very wonderful sculpture. It's called the Fountain of Tears, and the water was supposed to flow down, but the instructor couldn't make it work. So, but she said it was working right before she brought it, so
all
she
right.
was kind
Well,
of disappointed.
It's amazing.
Very nice, very neat work.
Wow.
Over here we have several pastels, some mixed media, several mixed media pieces. This is the Slipping Memories from Caitlin Cody. I thought that was some emotional maturity there to realize, tomorrow is just not guaranteed.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's that headdress there. That's Indian headdress. That's amazing.
Yes, very nice. And that is
Wow.
a mixed media piece. Very lovely.
And what's the base? What's all the baseball in there? What does that have a name on that?
It is called Ready to Play, and it is a pastel.
Oh, wow.
Oh, excuse me, a pencil. I don't have my glasses on.
Okay.
It's a pencil, but it must have some ink in there as well. Very nice. Very nice. The birds, parakeets. It's a watercolor, very
This is Trigo.
Trigo community.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
And Lori Dietz is their instructor. And we have one of her pastels that she prepared
Oh.
and hanging on the other side in the instructor area.
Okay.
Yeah, we can move over here to Hill City. Hill City instructor is Lori Album. And Lori is a wonderful watercolorist herself. She does several different mediums of art.
Wow.
She has quite the program over there. And they have several freestanding 3D ceramic pieces, as well as lots of mixed media, watercolor, pencil stippling, pointillism, some scratch art that's very impressive. She has a couple that did some photography as well, which is not something we see every year in the high school art show, so that's kind of nice.
We got caught up in a minute here with the camera.
Okay, that's okay. I'll have her come over here. Matilda Keith's Scarlet Lady. This is a watercolor. When I first saw it, I thought it was a marker or pen and ink, and when I realized it was watercolor, I was just blown away. I think watercolor is a very hard medium because it's so fluid. Very hard to say within the line, so to speak.
I was going to say, it's
Yeah.
just hard
It's
to keep
very
stuff
difficult.
from running.
And Lori told me that she's fast. She's very good. Matilda Keith, she's very good, but she can produce art just quick. Very impressive. And I hadn't seen the yarn art before in the high school art show, and I thought that showed some very in-depth forethinking, planning that out. Very nice. Interesting. Something out of the ordinary.
Okay, down here we have a lot of ceramics that look like and sculpture work.
3D work. Very nice ceramics program.
The two blocks there, that's an amazing.
And
With all the colors on that.
That is interesting. I believe they're cardboard,
Really?
actually.
Cardboard?
Yeah. They call it
Wow.
mixed media, but cardboard boxes, I think, is what they did and painted, and they look
Wow.
very interesting,
Sure.
don't
Yeah.
they?
No. That's more of the.
That's more of Hill Cities. They're here on the edge as well. There's a beautiful strawberry tiled. And this is this Matilda Keith again. She's very versatile. Very beautiful pot, Thane Walt, and Justin Clark, Landon Riffle over here. And she has a couple of photographs in her display this year, which we don't see photographs very often, but it's nice when we do get them. Lauren Bagley.
Wow.
Very nice.
And there, the one up here, it's called Cracked. You got the camera on, kid. That's very interesting.
Very
there.
interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
And see, we talked about the originality. You know, where the ideas come from, and then you put it down. You can put it down on paper or whatever they are. So.
They're very, yeah. Their minds are amazing. They're just always thinking, I'm sure. And we move into Norton over this way. We're going to get faced with Marilyn Monroe right away.
Right, yeah. That's a famous picture there, isn't it?
Yeah. Haley Talent in Norton Community High School prepared that. And she's just very eye-catching. Everyone sees her from the door, and they're very excited to see Marilyn. And I've had a couple people come in and say, well, they told us to come on into the museum because there was a wonderful painting of Marilyn Monroe. So it's neat. And this, over on this section, is Norton Community High School, and the instructor is Victoria Robinson. And they always have a nice program. Norton is very fortunate where they have grade school, junior high, and high school art. So they have a lot of input into them. And I like, one thing that's exciting, especially with like Norton and Hill City and Smith Center, just being around them, you see their names in the paper a little bit in this area a little bit more, but there are several of them that we've seen through the years, and we get to watch them progress, their talent grow, you know, so that's pretty cool. This Maddie Ray is one that I've seen throughout the years in the high school art show, and she's a senior now, and I've watched her my years I've been here, just her talent has grown. Really.
I hadn't thought about that. Every year you see some of the same people and what they've done and everything, and how they've improved, or maybe not improved. They do a good job.
They do. Christian Hawks is another one. He's a junior. He's got something over here on this side. And Corgan Nicholson, she's been in art several years. We've seen her come through, and it's just very interesting. And this is another, they're calling it ink, but she's using a technique that's just lines. When they cross, they call them a crosshatch, but this is all done with just straight lines up through the background, and then just a few cross lines to give some, you know, perspective of depth and such. It's just very interesting to watch them take a technique and make something.
Do they use a
ruler?
Ruler or something?
Some of them do, some of them don't. It's just amazing. I haven't got to talk to Corgan. I don't know if she did use a ruler or not. So another example of pointillism or stippling. Technically, if you're doing stipplings, they say it's just monochromatic, but pointillism, you involve some color. And there's several examples of those. Riley Goss's Grab, Christian Hawk's Deadly Colors, very interesting. Serenity's Rustic Beauty. Again, it's a very simple idea, but you really have to be planning and have some artistic ability to make those dots work. You know, truthfully do. Lots of very, very incredible artists. Sabrina Todd, this Along the Coast. That's a graphic design that you aren't going to be able to, you know, just automatically think, oh, that was generated from the computer.
It's amazing. Now, this is Norton, old Norton here.
Norton has a very small section backed by our Artist of the Month area too. They had some more work, and we let them spill over to that direction. So, yeah. This colored pencil, which is a Christian Hawk's piece, Nature's Roar. This colored pencil lion. I thought it was interesting because it's one of the few colored pencil pieces I've seen with a black background. But awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, it is.
You know, just so incredibly talented.
Wow.
Yeah. Very, very good work.
The clown there.
Very good, yeah. That's Carrie Dolly, and the title's Loser.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what, you know, that actually means or whatnot. The eye is very good as well over here. Interesting.
With the tear.
Waterworks is the title.
Yeah.
Again, it's another Carrie Dolly piece. So, This kind of has a Picasso feel to it with the offset colors of Jacob Seaman's Untitled.
That's interesting. The dog down the bottom there, here. That's
Kennedy Yeager, I believe, Man's Best Friend. Kennedy's another one we've seen several years in this show. And then look me in the eye, Corgan Nicholson. Corgan is very talented. She paints. She's got the color pencil. She's got the pencil. Very, very impressive skills there. And I know she's one that's been in the program for a long time. So Norton's very fortunate to have that much instruction in art. Very rare these days. Yeah. We'll come on over here to...
Okay, take the break so we can reestablish the camera. So we'll be back after we take this time out to look at some more of the great art here. And back we are with more of the great artwork from the various schools around the area. We're broadcasting the Tadpole Day from the Hanson Museum. This is still Norton, right? We're looking at Norton.
This over here is actually Hill City.
Oh, okay.
Yep, this is Hill City. And so we have William Penrod's D with the yarn art, Shelby Wilson's mixed media Queen of Hearts, Tabby from Tabitha Silver, her little kitty cat's cute, Live Wild, Abby Williams, Brianna Mickelson's Chaos, that's a mixed media, this is a watercolor, Kyle Richmeyer's Baseball, and Times Square. You know that, your favorite place.
Yeah, that's my favorite, Times Square. Yeah.
Lauren Bagley. Yeah, so some nice diversity here in the Hill City program. We have everything from a watercolor, mixed media, pencil drawing, photography, running the gamut there.
Sure.
Yep. And the back side here is Trigo Community, and we have several mixed media pieces and 2 pastels. We have a charcoal, Drowning in Thought, Tessa. That's just a beautiful, pensive piece, just very nice. And having so few colors in there, it appears to be a little bit more monochromatic, but it really does set the mood for that. That's a beautiful, beautiful piece. Kaya O'Bannon, Untitled, The Dolphin and Whale. That's cute and fun. Some weaving with the paper to create the background. Something you don't see very often. Same thing here with Woven Through Time. Nice use of the title to, stress the technique there. So some very nice thing. Not a Yacht. I thought that was a clever title here. Beautiful. Not a Yacht. Mm-hmm. So great. Behind us, we are moving into Phillipsburg. And as you mentioned, Tad, we have the games over here.
Okay, that's amazing.
Summer peaks through the digestive system and Annie Weissar's Hybrid, the board game. And so when I was speaking with Julie Peterson-Shea, the instructor for Phillipsburg, she was saying how this was a lot more work than they anticipated. The actual planning and making it all work out, so it was actually a playable game, was a little bit more difficult. So Annie,
Well, that's really instructional there too. I mean, you learn.
yeah, it's very educational, very much so. And she has some really cute pieces. Yeah, like there's coffee, pizza, ice cream cones. So her game playing pieces were like indicative of the game, you know, kind of like Monopoly.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Wow.
Annie's done a lot of artwork in her pieces.
Wow.
You can see she has some definite drawing skills. She's done a good job.
Wow.
We have some Phillipsburg pieces back here as well. Just clowning around. Kylie, AJ Jones Van Loonen's Gargoyles, the paper art flower, which Phillipsburg has some origami paper art this year, which I hadn't seen. I think the first time in my tenure at the museum that I've seen the paper art come into the art show, which is really fun. Mixed media, another AJ, Terran Sides, Still Life with Apple, several pencil drawings. One thing that Phillipsburg threw us for a loop this year, we get these forms that have their participants lists with their titles, the medium, and whether they're freestanding or wall hanging. And so Phillipsburg kept having this Drawtober category. And so from my Googling and visiting with Julie Peterson-Shea, it is like a drawing blog, or, you know, it gives you a theme every day to draw or every week to draw. And so we had a lot of these Drawtober, like this one right here, Drawtober Sweet Temptation. So it was for the month of October. They had this contest, or this, it's not really a contest, but it's like a inspirational, this is what we're going to do in October. And the theme for this week was Sweet Temptation. So she has this, what appears to be a nun eating the apple. There's a lot of like symbolism in here, so it's kind of fun. And this is Brooklyn Shelato. And then, like Lori said, or Julie Peterson-Shea said, she did it along with them. And one of them was, it had something to do with your heart. And she said she drew of the poison heart, and she drew a heart that had like awful thoughts and words and things like that coming out of it. She said it was just kind of interesting to see everybody's take on this, you know. We have another gargoyle here, which seems to be, I wonder if they had an assignment or whatever, but I think one thing about Annie Weissar's gargoyles up there, which I don't know if it'll film as well, is that it's very monochromatic, but she does an excellent job of bringing the gargoyle out. It photographs really well too. We've used it in the newspaper, so you may have seen it, but that would be very difficult using only the black tone to bring that to life, and she does an excellent job of doing that. The paper art here, mixed media, Sunrise, Emily Brandon. There's another one around the corner, and Summer Peak has one, the sunset. Those are very, very nice, very interesting, gives you some texture along with the bright colors, and it's a nice medium.
Wow.
Yeah. Lots of neat stuff. They have some more Phillipsburg around the corner here, and this is their 3D freestanding. Few ceramics, some paper mache, the turtle, a Ford skull, a symbolic skull, Emily Brandon. So I don't know if that means she's a fan of Fords, or the smile mug, Natalie Connor. I thought that was kind of cute and fun, just different, you know. Not as much 3D freestanding from Phillipsburg this year, but I suppose it depends each year on your students and what where their skill set lies. Yeah. We have a little bit more Phillipsburg here on the back side. Emily Brandon has an oil painting of Smile. The dog smiling is cute. Some more paper art, Madison Soliday, Kyra Flavin landscape, and then Callie Moore another Drawtober. I don't know what category this was, but that was the title there. So kind of interesting. we get really excited as we're typing
Sure.
up this list and making our labels. We start to think, oh, I wonder what that one is. I wonder what this will be. So it's kind of interesting.
You found out that does it work better with the schools, putting order things together with the schools as opposed to
Yes,
as
much better.
Yeah.
Because people typically want to see a certain
Sure.
section, and it's easier for them
It
too.
makes sense to you.
We don't have to sort it. We can just hang
Sure,
it in,
yeah.
and it's not a judge show anymore. So
Sure.
that makes a big difference. We run in here and we hit Smith Center. Smith Center has a lot of ceramic work this year. Chris Geddard is their instructor, and he's a fabulous potter as well. And something that's kind of interesting is these two pieces are actually characters in Adela's story that she's been writing. So I thought that was interesting, a nice way to integrate English and her art class. So we have several nice pots down here. They do a very nice job with their pottery, their ceramics, their sculptures. Very good. And then we have, again, Smith Center is one where I see a lot of repeat of artists and can watch them, grow. One thing that impressed me about Smith Center's display this year is they have several lino cut pieces, lino cut prints. And although they don't look incredibly detailed, this one's more detailed. This is a very hard process. They used what was a tile, and they gouged out in mirror image what they wanted to print. Wow. Yeah, and so very impressive. It's a very, it's not an easy process, and that they were able to produce such quality prints was impressive to me, not only for the instruction part of it, but for the patients on the student side. They have to really want to do this, So those are very awesome. A lifelong friend here, Amber Morgan's dog. That's just a sweet pastel.
Sure.
His eyes are, I'm so tired, but I want you to love me still, kind of thing. Lizzie Fort Miller is a 12th grader. We've seen her work the last few years, and I've just watched her grow. And this is an oil, and it's just really fabulous. Very pretty, very colorful, nice technique to get the hues to lighten out towards the center, and just very, very good work. Very good work.
Now, that's the biggest paint I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever seen one that big here.
Well, this is a charcoal, and this is the instructor, Chris Geddard's piece. So,
wow.
Yeah, I try to encourage the instructors to bring a piece, because it's nice for viewers to see their work so they know what kind of skill they have as they're teaching.
Sure.
And all of these instructors are very talented. Lori had a piece hanging in the Hill City area. Victoria didn't bring a piece this year, but she did last year. And Lori Dietz for Trigo, there's a couple pieces over there with Julie Peterson-Shea and Lori Dietz. And they all are very talented. This is kind of a fun mixed media. It's called Hidden Greatness. Sydney Hurt. Sydney is another one that we've seen throughout the years. A little bit different techniques, mixes. Very nice, very attractive.
What is that up the top there? What is that? No, the next to it, the middle. No, right in front of you.
This?
With the different colors, it's white, and then the color in the middle. That one right there.
This one? This is Sydney's Hidden Greatness.
What is that?
It's a mixed media. I don't know what all she's
is it
used.
Paint?
I believe there's some paint, and that's a canvas.
Okay.
And this actually looks like tinfoil.
Okay.
I'm not sure that's what it is, but it's different mediums put together. But it's very neat.
Wow.
I don't know the thought behind it, but it's eye-catching, very eye-catching. They also have some mono prints in Smith Center, and Chris Geddard, the instructor, did a video that I'll be posting on our Facebook page to explain that process. So I'm going to let you guys go to our Facebook page to see those.
See Brooklyn Bridge there. I see the Brooklyn Bridge right by you there.
Right here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Amber Dabian.
Okay.
That's a pencil. Very nice. Very nice. This was the political piece I was telling you. You need your passport. Bianca Mori, she is an exchange student from Italy, and she was in Italy when all those people were crossing the Mediterranean and dying, and she feels very strongly. This is a very interesting piece. She has them, you know, you need your passport, and they're all being sent back, and then there's a pregnant lady in the middle of the sea with tears, and
wow.
it's grabbing her. So it's very powerful. It does remind you of something that should be like in the New Yorker or something like
sure.
that. You know, it's very well thought of, and she was very passionate when she spoke about it. Very, very passionate. Caitlin Godsey, she is a 12th grader, untitled mixed media piece. She's another artist from Smith Center that we've seen through the years, and I can't, you know, give you a lot of details. It does look like she has had some foil in there, but it's very attractive, very pretty, something that you might want to hang in your home, you know.
Did we look at this pottery here? Did we look at that? Ceramics?
Ceramics.
Yeah.
Some very nice stuff. Sydney Hertz has a Leave Me Alone. Nice play on words there. Nicole Huffman, Swirls. Lizzie Fortmiller, Rustic. Caitlin Godsey. Shinobi and Schnobby and Stumpy. Oh, and Amber Dabian has Untitled Platter. That's very attractive. We have Vines in the Dark, Sam Heron. Untitled by Jerome, and Puckered Up. I'll pick it up and show you.
Oh.
Sydney Hertz. So, yeah, they have a nice ceramics program as well. Okay.
Is that a self-portrait?
Self-portrait of Sydney Hurt. Oh, yes. Wow. And then this is a lino cut and a mono cut print. Caitlin Godsey, a sketch through Green Eyes. And then this is a pastel still life apple, Gracie Parsons.
Okay.
Very nice.
All right. Is that, there's a couple I noticed over there we didn't.
Those are some instructor pieces.
Oh. Do you have any on the other side here?
We do have some Norton work up over here.
Oh, okay.
Norton overflowed clear into our Artist of the Month area. We're thankful because our Artist of the Month next 2 months don't have any wall hanging stuff to go over here, so it's nice to fill the area. We have Saddled Up with Tina Johnston, Charlotte Ambrose, Thirsty, Julian Gonzalez, Diablo, Maddie Barrett, Transformation, Death to Life, A Day in the Field, Katina Schilling, Hannah Widener, Oil Painting, Alcatraz Run, Ride or Die, Darian, Michaela Woods, Road to Nowhere, Holding On, Cheyenne Railsback, Sarah Dial, Happy Days, right here, this color pencil, Safari Adventure, Erica Miller, Jalen Runback did a pencil of the puppy, and Good Vibes, Tegan Johnson.
Wow.
So.
A lot of beautiful work.
A lot of beautiful work. Very good. And we have in our Artist of the Month area here, we have Jordan Leggett's Cowhide Creations. She takes ornamental leather and upholstery tacks and redoes picture frames and shelves and candle holders, and very pretty, very, if you are into Southwest look, this is right up your alley. It's very nice stuff.
Okay. There are a few pictures there, I don't think, were those?
Those are instructor pieces.
Oh, yeah, those are the instructors' work there.
Yeah, we can go over there and show them. We have Lori Dietz and Julie Peterson Shea hanging up over here. Lori Dietz, this is the first time since I've been here that she's actually brought a piece to show, and she said she had to go get it out of her mother's storage. I said, oh, that's too beautiful to be in storage, but it's a pastel wildflower, very lovely. And she is the instructor at Trigo Community. Should not title it, but it's gorgeous. And then Phillipsburg's Julie Peterson Shea, she has pen and ink. And she has 4 at the apothecary and Molly sitting. So I think they're very, very wonderful work, but I think her incorporation of the skulls into the upholstery of the chair is so fun. Very fitting of Julie's personality, too. I love it. Yeah. All very talented instructors. Each of these schools are very fortunate to have such skilled instructors guiding them as they learn.
Well, great tour.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tour.
Thank you so much for coming and bringing the
Okay,
tadpole to the Hanson.
Okay, now let's talk about what's coming. I got something in the mail the other day, cooking for 1 or 2.
Cooking for 1 or 2. We have Anna back. We will be hosting that class at the city building as we are under construction in our community room, bathroom, and kitchen now. We're beginning to renovate, and so we're in phase 1, which was the kitchen and the bathrooms, and plan for this area.
Sure.
So we move into phase 2, and we will finish getting our to-scale planning done for this area. And when we're complete with that phase, which should be about the end of July, we're going to move into phase 3, which is build.
Wow.
So it will be a lot of changes at the Hanson this year. We will be closing down sometime after Arts and Craft Fair. We'll close down to the public and be closed through the end of the year into mid-January is the timetable now.
A lot of things going on in here then?
Yes, everything.
And is it secret or is it?
Well, it's not completely secret, but like I said, we've only planned to plan, so we have conceptual and schematic design drawings, but nothing's to scale. So, you know, it's kind of like going to the doctor. You never tell what the first diagnosis is because they'll change it. So I don't expect a lot of change from what our schematics have come out, but, you know, it'll be exciting. We have a lot of, it'll be very different in here. It'll be time. You know, this building is almost 50 years old.
Really?
And it has been very well maintained.
Well, I think it was state of the art when they built it, I think, if I remember right.
Yes, of course it was. You know,
right,
of course it was, you know.
Right.
And it's, you know, we adhere to maintenance schedules very well. Paul Graham does an excellent job of keeping everything up to date. So you look around and people say, oh, it doesn't look so bad. But if you get to looking close, it's like anything. It starts to show its age. So we not only, you know, it kind of started out, we thought we just needed some new carpet and some stuff like this. And then as we began to investigate, we're like, you know, it's just time. We need to do some complete updating.
And as you set up your displays, did you ever, an idea comes to you, you know, like, would we make the change, we might incorporate it in there. And
our rotating gallery is going to stay pretty open like it always does, because that is, you know, very standard to our mission. We want to bring arts and culture to the people of northwestern Kansas, and we want to have enough space to be able to do that adequately all the time, you know. So the big change, this will of course be different color and stuff, will be back in the permanent collection. And I'm very excited for that to come about. We will have, you know, our gun collection will still be there, and Mr. Hanson's office will still be there. They're all going to be moved around a little bit, and our administrative offices are moving. So it's going to we're going to incorporate some technology. It's really exciting. So that'll be our biggest change this year. So that being said, cooking for 1 or 2 will have to be housed at the city building, and then as soon as the kitchen and the bathrooms are done, we will still be able to have some classes here in the community room while we continue planning for the rest of the renovations.
Okay, so what else is coming up?
We have barn quilt exhibit. This is our first open call exhibit that we've done here at the Hanson Museum, and so that will start March 13th, I believe is the date of it, start opening. And we have just put the plea out there. We want to see your barn quilt. And so to date, we have 34 exhibitors. From anywhere from a 2-foot square barn quilt to a 4-foot square barn quilt will be entered, and there'll be prizes. Best to show is a $350 prize, and then People's Choice Award is a $350 prize, and then we have some judges coming in, and there'll be 4 other Hanson Award winners that will receive $200 apiece. So we hope it was positive incentive for those barn quilt artists to get their barn quilt up and out and entered into the show.
It's amazing. Your barn quilt's on the wall over here in that building.
Post office.
It's in the post office. There's some of those come from what they've done here.
Well, that was a chamber initiative. The museum opened the community room and set it up so people could come and paint in here, but we didn't actually pay for the supplies or anything like that. We just had a lot of place.
That's a great display of barn quilts out there.
The chamber hosted. They bought the supplies and asked the people of Logan to come and paint a barn quilt. What was really fun about that was I was fortunate enough to, of course, be a part of it since we are opening the doors to let people paint in there. We saw a lot of families do that together.
Sure.
And that was a lot of fun. And barn quilts are just extremely popular right now anyway, very trendy. But that was neat. It really was a time of bonding for the citizens of Logan. And then to see that go a step further for, we had several families, husbands and wives and children, work together. So that was fun.
Okay. And what else happening?
What else is happening here? So much, Tad, so much. We do have a kids painting class coming up on March 28th, I believe is the date of it. It's a Saturday. We're having Sherry Robinson come. And it's very affordable, no membership discount for that class. It's $20 per child. And we have it broken into 2 sessions, younger kids in the morning, older kids in the afternoon. And if anybody's interested in that, the brochures are just going out. You can contact the museum and we'll make sure we get you one. We always send our brochures and registrations to our members first because membership has its privileges, but it's not limited to members. We just give them first opportunity. This class will fill very quickly. We have a crochet class coming up with April Tevis. It is not for beginning crocheters. It's for more intermediate people who have had some experience, maybe can't read a pattern. And she's going to have 3 patterns available to make a small blanket, baby blanket, you would call it probably. And so that will be a 4-session class, and that's coming up. Orientation, I believe, is in March 24th, and then there'll be different days that we'll meet so she can continue teaching us along the way.
Always something going on down there.
Always something.
I have a feeling Sherry Robinson will be teaching, and then in between that, she'll play pickleball. So
I don't know.
I've got her scheduled next week on the Tadpoll to talk about pickleball because we're having a pickleball tournament in Phillipsburg a week from this Saturday, I think 7th, I think.
Have you ever played?
What?
Have you ever played pickleball?
No, I've watched it a lot.
I've never even watched it. I don't know.
It's interesting. It's between ping pong and tennis, for the older people. I'd like to play. I'd like to be able to play, but get rid of. So I'd have to use that walker all the time, I asked her, I said, could I use a walker and play? And probably not.
Probably liability issues,
I would have to have a very, very good partner who could get to the stuff, anyway, so.
Well.
And so, then of course you'll have Arts and Crafts and Labor Day.
Arts and Crafts and Labor Day are a go. That won't be affected with any of our renovation.
Okay.
We won't close our doors until after Arts and Crafts.
Okay.
And I don't even have a complete date of when that's going to happen 100%.
Sure.
It's all very, we're going to plan ahead and just go forward, and then when we have to stop, we'll stop. Construction, you know how that goes.
Sure.
It doesn't always go according to plan, but it does. And we did get our newsletters out, so it does, talk about all the other things.
I enjoy the newsletters.
Yes.
I enjoy the newsletters.
We do have the high school plant and soil science classes coming back to do a floral design class.
Okay.
And those registration forms will be going out first shortly because you need to register before April 3rd for that, so they have time to order the flowers. This year they're making a bud vase for us, so it's always fun. $30. You're gonna get to enjoy a bunch of kids that really do know what they're doing, teaching you how to make a floral arrangement, and then you're gonna walk out here with flowers. You don't hardly ever get a bouquet of flowers for $30.
No.
And then we have a new class coming up in April 2 called Basket Weaving. Marcia Jensen from Manhattan area, she's an incredible fiber artist, and she's going to come and teach us to make what she calls Stacy's basket, and it's a larger basket. There in our newsletter, there's a very small picture, and it's a beginner basket, and all the supplies are basically provided. Like you're going to have to possibly bring I think a pair of pliers or something like
Sure.
that, but nothing, you won't have to buy any art supplies per se. And we're really excited to see that. That will be another class that is extremely limited in size. So if you're at all interested, you're going to have to, as soon as you get that registration form, you're going to have to hop on and get it in to get into it. So yeah, we're
Any painting classes coming up?
June. Well, June we'll have Joy Painting. Our schedule is just a little bit different with the renovations. So we usually have Lori Album's watercolor workshop in June, but that is pushed back to fall time. And same way with Stacy Hartman. She pushed back her oil painting workshop. But June we'll have Joy Painting, and then in July we're still going to have the Volbrat oil painting workshop. So just a few different schedule things.
Do you know what they're going to be doing for Joy Painting yet?
I do, but I can't remember both of them. But one of them is this quirky little purple dragon. No
lighthouse.
No lighthouse.
I have no influence. I guarantee you ever get the lighthouse, how come? I did the one, and I had a good time. But they have done lighthouses in the past too. I know, but I wasn't.
You
really
weren't
into
able.
it then, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well, I don't know when they're going to have a lighthouse back, but one of them is this quirky little purple dragon, which is really fun. He's a really cute little thing, and it's just a new, it's new techniques. They're trying to expand their student skill sets. And then it's a old pump with some flowers, and it's very pretty. No matter what they're painting, I can guarantee you with TR and Sandy, you're going to have fun and you're going to learn.
Yeah. Not only with them, but with the people around you, you know. And I've said this many times. You really make a mistake, and you come over here and it's fixed, you know, like that.
With Joy Painting, we always see that those participants turn over after so long because they kind of outgrow Joy Painting. So then either they move on to higher learning, or they stay in Joy Painting because they just want to have that fun. But we see new people come along, and right now we have a lot of newer people that are just entering into the painting world. And what was kind of fun this last time is it was right after Valentine's Day, so we had 2 couples come as like a Valentine's Day present, and they had a good time. But one thing, they came right at 9 o'clock, and if you've ever taken Joy Painting, if you want a particular spot, you really better come at 8:30. Because those people are serious about their Joy Painting class. And so they come right at 9 o'clock, and there was like supposed to be a date, but there was no room for them to sit together. So they were nice, people were nice, and they moved and stuff. So I guess that would be my caveat here is if you are going to come to Joy Painting and it starts at 9, you really should be here no later than 8:40.
So, very good. Well, sounds like you've got things going, and they're doing work back there this morning.
Yes.
I can hear them back in there.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, well.
It's very exciting. It's finally getting to see some of our plans come to life. It's very encouraging. I'll tell you, it's so fun. It's so exciting. But there is so much more once you start you doing that. And I think of the Life Project, how involved that is. They starting from the ground up. I at least have these outer walls that aren't changing, so we have a parameter to our project, but it's still one door opens, another door opens, another door.
Brian, he's really excited, I think, about getting things going, and a lot of things going on down here
in Logan. Yeah, we're just moving right along.
Okay, well, I appreciate the great tour again. I always enjoy coming down here, and we were a little late getting on, but everything went fine, and good job of showing and explaining some of the artwork, and we'll have to do it next year again. Okay.
Well, we'll be honored. Thank you, Tad, for bringing
Thank you. Sherry Bus with it this morning, and earlier we had Brian Stockman talking about life. So next week we already have a lot of guests scheduled, and I know Sherry Robinson is going to come on and talk about pickleball. I know that, and I know some other people already contacted us about. We'll be back at our friendly confines of the Fisher Building next week. So that's going to do it for the Tadpoll. Again, thank you for hospitality and letting us come down here and do this. And
our pleasure.
And we'll see you next Thursday morning on the Tadpoll.